away from
Yes, I'm
talking
sorry.
about
Sorry.
All right. Thank you again for joining us today for the Resume Rescue Workshop. And one of the things we will talk about CVs as well, because there are a lot of students that are looking to go into academia, which is more, the CV is more of that format for those academia positions, whereas resume tends to be more of the industry, business, more of those types of roles. And so again, we want this to be interactive. So we'd love for you to put any questions you have in the chat, and we're happy to answer those. And we'll try and have a couple of activities for you to do. So we'd love to have feedback and have you participate today. So I think we'll start with introductions. So my name is Deborah Naspak. I'm an associate director here at the Career and Professional Development Office. I've been here just over 3 years at Claremont Graduate University. I've been in higher ed for about 15 years, and my previous role was at another institution, and that was with admissions. And it was primarily with international students, and my last 3 years with graduate, domestic, and international students. Prior to that, I had a whole other career in finance and administration. And so I'm a great example of someone that has some twists and turns in their career journey and has career shifts along the way. And so understanding that piece, our executive director, Michelle Ponce, is unable to join us today, but she has been in her career her whole life. So she is, I think, over 30 years now. She has been in the career service industry. And so her trajectory was pretty straightforward within the same industry and same types of roles. And then I'm also going to hand it over to Ro to introduce themselves, and then we can also introduce our students.
So hi everybody, my name is Ro Lee. I've been with CGU. Hello, welcome. I've been with CGU for about 3 years now. Before coming to CGU, I did work for various roles in higher education for about a decade. But before that, I was actually practicing law in New York. And so just like Deborah said, we both share a non-linear pathway, which actually benefits the students a lot, because now we can talk about what experience you have and how that can transition and what transferable competencies you can put on your resume or your CV. So I think this is something that's really important. I do understand also the nature. A lot of students think about their resume as the end all and be all of the application procedure and the documents. However, this is just one part, a very important part, but one part of the application procedure. So today we're going to share a little bit about that. But before we go into that, we do have at least 2 of our students present. We have one in person here, Asenet. Asenet, can you actually, and 2 online as well. Okay, Asenet, can you actually introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Asenet. I'm a PhD student in history here at Claremont Graduate. I come also from another path. I was a history teacher looking to move into, I was a middle school teacher, moving into academia now in research. So I understand the whole moving from a resume to a CV, and I also get to learn a lot from being here. I work at the Career Center as an administrative and program specialist. So if you guys have any questions, please do come see us and ask any questions.
Thank you. All right. And online, manning our Zoom room, thank you so much for your participation, helping us out. Sierra, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. My name's Sierra Hernandez. I'm a PhD student in social psychology. I'm one of Dr. Hogg's students, and I work at CPD. I've been there for about 3 years, and I'm a digital marketing and communications specialist. What I'll be taking away from this workshop today is mainly CV focused because I'm mainly in academia. But yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And I believe we also have Katya in the room somewhere. Katya, can you introduce yourself as well?
Hi everyone, my name is Katya. I'm a 3rd-year PhD student at CSAT in the PhD in Information Systems and Technology program. I'm basically doing anything on the data side for a CPD, so any reports and stuff like that. And yeah, I've been at CPD for like 2.5 years, I think. So if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, so I think we're going to start with a slide that another one of our students, Marco, actually helped us create. So we want a little interactive engagement here. If you take out your phones and you just scan the QR code, you do not have to download any additional information. It should take you right to the slide deck here for the slido.com. And the first poll that we have here is what emoji best represents your resume or CV right now? So go ahead and take a picture of that QR code with your phones. All right.
I love
This is interesting.
some fire.
Mhm.
Is that a good fire?
Yeah, I don't know, right? That's right. All right. Well, I think there's another option down there, right? Is it only 5 options? Yeah, I think it is 5. Oh, so 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
Number 5 and 5. So
There's
that's
2
tied.
5s.
There's 2 5s. Oh, so the 2 1s are you're still maybe writing, and the number 2 is like, I don't know. Very interesting. The reason why it's interesting to see this is because you see where your peers are at as well, right? Of course, these questions were much cooler than anything that we could have come up with, than anything I could have come up with. So this is also from the student perspective as well. So it looks like you're continued writing, you're not sure, and maybe on fire. And as Deborah said, we're not sure what that fire exactly means. Fire meaning good fire?
Good fire. Okay. We'll go with that. It's good
Okay.
fire. Some of you feel like you're rocking it. So great.
Which is awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Let's go to another engagement question. Oh, you want to read that one?
Yeah, so which section of your resume or your CV do you feel needs the most or needs the most improvement?
Mm.
So I think this is always, it's interesting because we'll meet with students and there's always some of them have most of it done, but they're not sure. They have a couple questions. Some, yeah, as we saw in the poll, don't even know where to start. And so it's always interesting for us. We enjoy meeting with students and helping you through that.
Mhm.
Okay, so summary, profile, skills, some everything. Yeah,
Everything.
yeah. All right.
All right. Well, it looks like education is bringing up the rear, but that's probably because it's the most direct, right, on what to do for that as well. But you'd be interested on what information we can also put under the education center. So we'll talk about that as well today. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. And we have one more final Slido. What's the biggest challenge you face when working on your resume or CV? And you can type in your answer here. So again, what's the biggest challenge you face when working on your resume or your CV? So this was not multiple choice. You can just write in what you think is the biggest challenge for you. Some examples is timing. Some examples is focus or tailoring it. Some of them is the format, right? There's different areas.
How to put
Oh, yeah.
metrics in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so insecurity about what it's worth putting on, knowing how much detail, where focusing, metrics, keeping it updated, tailored. Yeah.
Oh, I like that one. It said different. So different meaning making you stand out from the rest of the crowd. That's what I'm assuming that means, to make it different. And also if we have any vets in the audience as well, I just talked with one this morning about how to translate that military experience to your professional experience as well. So I know that's something that's sometimes of an issue as well. So thank you for these, but you can see some of these words. I'm sure that some of you guys also feel the same about your resume or CV. Okay. The biggest or different and always keeping it updated. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I mean, this is great for us to know because it helps us know what to talk about today in this. It's hard to do justice all about resume and CV in just the 45 minutes that we have with you. So it's very intricate. It depends on each student, each alumni, each of you has different experience, has different career goals. And so really having more of that one-on-one with us is going to be helpful for you as you're looking at how to craft your story and have it really be impactful for your career. So just, I think most of us know that it does matter, but maybe not all the reasons why. We keep hearing over and over that recruiters spend 6 seconds, 6 to 8 seconds looking at your resume or your CV. They're just scanning it. They're trying to figure out as fast as possible, do you have the experience? Do you have the skill set? Are you a good fit? And so first impressions do matter. You want to be able to grab their attention, to quickly show them that you are a good fit for the role you're applying to so that you can get that interview. The resume is to get that interview. That's the goal. And so keeping that in mind. And it is a marketing tool. And again, you're telling your story, and that people can call it personal branding, but it's really what story describes you in the professional or academic setting. So how do you want to portray yourself? What skills do you want to stand out? What accomplishments have you done that you are proud of that you want to showcase to potential employers? And then a strong resume can open doors, as you see. I don't know if you've had any experience, but I've had it myself and others where I have passed along my resume to someone and it did turn into an opportunity to interview. And that could be done in a networking situation. It can be done that I know someone that knows someone. So they say, send me your resume, I'll pass it along. And so it can open up those doors for you. And fourth, but not final, there's more, but you want to stand out. So that was one of the things. How can I make it different where I'm standing out, but yet now we have the automatic tracking systems. We have AI that's going through different resumes and CVs. And so how do you get through that system to get to the human to review it?
Okay. And we have to just consider your resume is kind of like a ticket, right? And you're trying to get that interview, which is, let's say, the concert, right? So we want to make sure all the information on your resume or your CV is the right information to get that interview. So there is a difference between resume and CV. And you even heard Asenet mention that she's transitioning from a resume to a CV, which happens vice versa as well. Okay, so it's good to know that they are two separate documents that serve two different purposes. The resume, generally 1 to 2 pages, and the way that I like to determine 1 to 2 pages, even though it's case by case, is if you have more than 10 years of experience, then you can go to 2 pages, right? That's a generalized answer, but a lot of people do ask me like, when can I go into that second page? Okay. Another one is the skills and experience are tailored to the job. It's not a one size fits all. If you're using one resume to apply to different type of roles, you're doing it wrong. Okay. If you're using, let's say 2 or 3 resumes, but you're applying to 2 or 3 different sets of jobs that have the same titles and roles, that's okay. But you do have to tailor your resume. So one of the questions that somebody had, or one of the comments was that they have to keep it updated. Yes, you do have to keep it updated. Okay. Another one is common in the US, whereas the word CV means resume sometimes in other parts of the world. So you have to realize that resume means something different when you're applying in state. Another one is focus on the impact, like metrics. You want to show result oriented, not just what I did, but how you did it and the accomplishments. That's really important. Most students only focus on the job role or the responsibility. I was in charge of, doing this project, but they don't talk about, well, did you do that project well? Did you improve? Did you increase, the productivity or the sales of that role? That's really important to put on there. Okay. On the CV side, a little bit more toward academia and research. And I do know that we have a lot of PhDs in the room that are considering that way. So this is something that you have to realize. CV can be multiple pages, right? I've seen CVs that are 3 pages. I've seen CVs from professors and faculty at CTU that are 70 pages. Why? Because of the number of information they have on there, and we'll talk about that as well. It's a comprehensive career record list. You don't explain things on there. You list your job titles, your publications, the conferences that you spoke at. Common in academia and globally. So CV in the US generally is geared toward academia and research. Last but not least, focus on detail and completeness. You have to make sure, because you're only providing the titles and roles, but you're not providing an explanation of them. That means your title must be comprehensive, right? It must be very easy to understand what you did and how you did it just from those entry points. So it's not just I put down a list. So some people say, oh, a CV is easier to create. However, it has to be organized. It has to clearly state what your intent is. Is it for a research role or for a teacher role? So the fields that you're putting in order are important. Okay, right.
So this is just a resume example, and you'll see that it's very clean, very easy to read. You have a mix of we call white space. You'll see at the top, they have their name, their contact information, they list education. And so you can see the different areas that are included in a resume. And I know we talked about how do we stand out. When you're sending a resume digitally, you want it to be very clean. Because if they're using an AI system to screen it, the AI system, the automatic tracking system cannot read tables, it can't read columns, it can't read a header or footer. So there's things with the format, it has to be very simple and easy to read. And again, the recruiters are spending how many seconds, if anyone? Do you remember how many? 6 to 8 seconds. So it has to be very easily for them to scan it very quickly.
So for a legendary resume, like a really important resume that stands out, we do have to realize some information does have to be on there, right? And before I get into this, I also want to recognize that we have different people from different majors and backgrounds here. A resume template for a digital marketing person will be different from a person that wants to do business, or the person that wants to go into museum space, or wants to go into research. So the templates do look different, but they do all share something in common, and what's in common is here on this page, right? So here, names and contact information, right? You want to use the email that's the most professional to you. If you're going to be here at CGU for quite a long time, yeah, use your CGU one. That's fine. It already shows credibility and it shows that you're, part of an institution. However, some people want to keep that separate. If you want to create a Gmail or you have your own site, that's okay. But you don't want like funkymonkey75, right, at gmail.com. You want something that sounds a little bit more professional. Most people stick with your name, okay? Another one here is it's really important to have an additional piece of information that's attached to the resume, like the LinkedIn or in some cases a portfolio. This is one of the ways you can stand out from the thousands of people that are applying for that job as well. You want to put and embed a link in there, or you can actually put the URL, okay, in there as well. You want your phone number and your email. That's how they're going to contact you. Professional summary. Oh, before we get into that, probably also your location. I'm very strategic with location. You can just put state, city and state. If you're at Claremont right now, you can put Claremont, California. If the job is in New York, but it's remote, then you can put anywhere in the world. But you also want to see where the headquarters is and where that job is as well. Because let's say your home is in Florida, but you're living in California and the job is in Oakland, then put California. Okay, so I want to be strategic because I want them to at least feel that you're closer to them in locale, right? Another one is professional summary. This can be tailored. Sometimes we'll have it, sometimes we won't. Sometimes we'll call it an executive summary. But the main point of this is either maybe about 4 lines max on a resume. I wouldn't go over 4 lines. So how do we make this concise, but it conveys the information that the job description is asking for in that industry? That's the important part. This is not a paragraph long a summary of everything you've done. It's a targeted piece of writing that shows the skills that the job description is asking for. Okay. Yes, you can do a little bit AI to help you with this, but you have to do it in a tone that's professional. And just like a resume, we want to put everything up front. We want to also front load a summary. If they're asked, if it's a technical job and they want you to do coding, then you better put all the coding information on top that you know that you can do as well. Another one is the education. This is the part where you're going to put it in reverse chronological order. You're here at CGU, CGU will be on top. Expected graduation 2026, 2028, whatever that is. Under that, you'll put your undergrad, right? You don't have to put the dates you attended fully. Oh, I attended from 2007 to 2013. You don't have to put that. Just put the year or the month and the year you graduated. That's enough. If you have any special scholarships or any certifications that you got in that institution as well, put it in your education. Okay. If there's any relevant coursework that's important for that job. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to join Esri and I want to be a GIS, programmer or something like that. Well, if you're taking a class in GIS at CGU, put that in there. Relevant coursework, taking GIS right now. Okay. For experience, now this is the meat of your resume, right? This is the most important part. Recent experience, you can have more bullets explaining. Older experience, usually less. Right? People always think you have to have one section for experience. You don't. You can put, example, if it's a coding job, you can put coding experience and put your coding experience jobs, and then you can put other relevant experience and add them as well. So I always want to make sure, remember, Deborah said you have about 6 seconds to impress somebody. You want to put all the good, I call it the juicy stuff in the front. You want to front load it. So if there's experience that's direct, if it's recent, great, we can put it. If it's not recent, we still want to move it up. So we have to call that header or that section something different instead of just a general experience. Okay. Any questions about the experience section, online or in person here? Yes.
I was under the impression that anything older than like under maybe 5 years should be just kind of forgotten.
Oh, yes and no. Okay, so the question was, I heard that anything that's over 5 years old should maybe be discarded or forgotten. If it's relevant for the job, right, then I definitely would put it on there, right? Let's say you did, you're trying to work for a corporate fashion place. Oh, I did also some, fashion work, but that was like 7 years ago. And now I've been studying or transitioning as well. Well, we want to put that up front if it's relevant. So then maybe we'll put fashion corporate experience as the first experience section. So you can have multiple experience sections. Most people don't realize this as well. Yes.
Things that aren't relevant, would you say just not include them at all or put them into the bottom?
Oh, good question. So the question was, if things are not relevant, do we include it or to put it at the bottom? Depends if we can bring out some competencies. Like if teamwork and communication are really important to that job, and you had a lot of that in that other experience, then we may want to bring it up. If it's totally unrelated, like, oh, in college, I was a camp counselor for 2 weeks. Well, then maybe it's not relevant for that banking job that you're going for, right? So it depends. And we will discuss with you that part as well. Because I understand people, sometimes they like to put everything on their resume. And we could if it's going to be a master resume. Deborah, do you want to explain what a master resume is? Yeah.
Yeah, so master resume or a primary resume, it's really that bank vault of all of your professional and educational and academic experience.
Mm.
And it's a place that you have everything listed. It can be 20 pages long. You could have 20 bullet points under everything. And it's really a comprehensive record. This is not the document you want to hand out or distribute to potential employers.
Mm.
So this is just your way of keeping that all in one place and really thinking through what are those transferable skills that I have from that job? What are the things that I accomplished when I was in this role? What value did I bring to the employer? And so this allows you to keep track of it. You have one place you always go to. That is the document you want to be updating frequently. Side tip, winter break, great time to work on updating
Mhm.
your master resume.
Mhm.
I try and take that, I try to take my own advice, and every time we have our 2 weeks off,
Mhm.
I start looking at mine. Okay, what do I need to add? What have I done in the last 6 months since the last time I touched my resume? So always thinking about updating that. And then you would take that and make a copy of it and start tailoring it for specific roles.
Mm.
And so that way you're not having to look through 7 different variations of your resume or CV to see, where did I put that one piece of information? I know it's on one of these documents. You always know, okay, I'm going to go to that master primary resume. And then I can take that, make a copy, and start getting rid of the things that aren't relevant, but really tailoring it for the specific role.
Oh, and before we move on to the skill, and you'll take that part,
Mhm.
but also in the experience, your project experience is also important. You're here at CGU, you're doing master's or PhD. I mean, how many percent of at least American population have advanced degrees? It's very low, right? Into the single digits, maybe less than 5% of the population. So that means the work that you're doing is at advanced level. If you did a project or a certain research project, or you worked with a professor on this, we can add that into the relevant information under the experience section, but we have to describe it in a way that's professional. So we will help you with the language, but as Deborah alluded to, when it comes to a master resume, you may want to fill that information in. Oh, I did a project with that professor, and that may be, utilized for that job application, but how do I do it? Put it on your master resume for now, and we'll figure out. But I don't want you to forget what you did. So as she said, every semester you have a couple weeks off, besides partying, because that's due, you have to take your mental break. But also I would just take, half an hour to an hour and just update your information as well. Skills.
Yeah. So skills, again, relevant and specific. And
Mhm.
how do you know? When you look on LinkedIn, I think now you can do, well, it used to be 50 skills and now it's well
Yeah.
over that.
Mhm.
Again, looking at the job description, looking at what is required, what skills are you going to be using in that role will help you identify, oh, I have that skill. I know that program. I have this other program that's similar. I can have that on there. And you can also use AI chat and say, what types of skills, what are the top skills needed in the finance industry? Or what are the top skills needed in this type of job? So if you have specific jobs you're looking at, you can get that idea of what are those top skills employers are looking at. And then looking through them and identifying the ones that you do have, making sure that is on your resume or your CV, and then also incorporating it in the bullet points. So you can't only list it in the skills section because the recruiters are gonna look, oh, they said they have this skill, but I don't see it anywhere in the bullet point.
Mhm.
I don't see it anywhere on the resumes. So where did they use this? But if you're incorporating it in those bullet points and you're showing, oh, I did coding in this role, this research project, or I did data analysis in these different roles, they can see where you used it and how long you were in that role. And so that's really important. You don't want to forget any. And I think that's where that tailoring of your resume or your CV based on the position you're applying for, even on the company you're applying to, can really help you figure out what you need to be putting, how to articulate your skill, and how it matches what they're looking for.
The next one.
And then I think just extras, again, as Rose said, you want to think about what's important to the company for that volunteer. Is it important you were a camp counselor back in your bachelor's degree? It could be. There's a lot of companies that do different charitable work. And so you can look at, oh, they're really big on volunteering in their community. I have volunteer experience that I did in my community. So I want to show them that I would be a good fit for that company because that's a value of mine as well. And so again, researching the company in addition to the role is going to help you know how to tailor your specific resume. And then just what do you add? Because again, we don't want it too long. We don't want too much information because then the important information gets lost. So I am gonna be honest, if I look at a resume and there's so many words and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to like get a pen and circle and highlight. They don't have time to do that. And so you really want to know what's important to them. What are they looking for and how can I show that on my resume?
And while we go to the next one, you see hobbies is not part of this, okay? So I know that maybe in high school or college, they taught you guys to put hobbies or interests. You don't have that anymore.
We're at 12:30.
We're at 12:30. Okay, so we can stop really.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go fast. I can go over this one fast. And all right, so the language, of course, does matter, right? So action verbs, but the most important one here, I believe, is the second one, the quantifiable achievements. If you said you're an Excel expert, then how did you use Excel in your company? And what was the product of that? What was the result of that? The achievements. Okay, that's really important. The last part where it says generic filters, you know, oh, I have passion to do this, I'm a team player, all these things, these general words, they don't work as much if you want to differentiate yourself, right? General words are for the general population. You're not general population, right? You're masters and PhD students. We should be specific and professional with the words that we use. We will help you with this, by the way, right? Because if you use only AI, then you will get AI produced resumes that 10,000 other people have done as well, right? So we need to tailor that. We can utilize AI, but that can't be the final product. Remember, you're creating a resume that shows your accomplishments. You're not creating another job description that shows job descriptions of various jobs, okay?
This is just a bullet point structure. So as you're thinking about how do I structure my bullet point, we are going to have this slide deck up on our website by next week, and a recording will be on there so you can access this. And we do have a worksheet that we're going to hand out at the end that you can take with you and use that will help you think through, how do I write these bullet points? What do I need to put, you know, what's the structure, what's the format, what should be going into it?
Okay. And when you're writing your bullets, make sure that the priority of your bullets matches the priority on the job description. Right? If they want you to use a certain platform, then you put that as your first bullet. I use this platform to do A, B, C, D, E, G. Okay.
Yeah, it's always order of importance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I have a question that's probably really stupid at this point in my life. So when it comes to Microsoft Word, which I've always used,
Mhm.
when it comes to formatting and page layout, I have it, according to me, I have it right. And then I decide to add a column, I decide to do whatever it is. Next thing you know, it's like not working. It has its own brain and it's this
Mhm.
documenting my setup.
Mhm.
And I could never fix it again and I have to start a brand new document and it's so unproductive.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
So like it started doing something where I'm typing a sentence and then the space between the words just starts
Bigger
getting
enough.
really
Mhm.
large and I
Is it
thought
just
maybe I copied
Yeah.
something. So then I typed my own thing like further down again.
Yeah.
Where do I go to fix this? Like to figure this out because it's happening in my resume too, which is why I'm like,
Mm.
I think that
Yeah,
just
Word
I think it's
be-
right. So the question was about how almost Word is formatting on its own. So then when you're trying to like do some stuff, and there is like, you know, some places where they have an automatic grammar check or an automatic something that may be embedded as well. I feel like when you're writing, if the spaces are going weird, it sounds like it's justified, meaning you can align it to the left, you can align it to the right, you can center it. It seems like that button justified may have been pressed, or maybe it's a setting it's
Yeah.
already in there. And this, I'm glad you brought up the point about Word, because when you're submitting your resume or any of the information, you should convert, after you've edited, convert it to a PDF, right? Because that's what employees want to see. If I have a Word version that's older or newer than what you have, then mine is going to be all set up differently too. And they're gonna be like, oh, why did she submit something that's so unprofessional and it's not lined up? That's not what you meant to send. It's just that their version is different. It's reading it differently. So the final version, convert it to PDF before you send it out. That's a good point.
All right.
Mhm.
But these are just some tips as you're thinking about how you tailor your resume, what you do as you're looking to submit an application. And so again, we have only about 8 more minutes left, so we don't want to spend too much time. But again, this will be on our website. And, doing that research of the company, of the role. And that's what we were in a webinar a few weeks ago that were different recruiters.
Yeah.
And what they said is make sure you know the role, you understand the role, and make sure you can explain your resume. So they don't mind that you're using AI to help you, but they want to see that you actually know what's in your resume and that it's true, it's accurate, and that it fits the role.
That's key because you're writing your resume and submitting it. If you write something in there and they point to it and go, what did you do? Or what did you mean when you said this? If you can't explain it, they're like, oh, did you really write it? Is this really you? So that's important. Using AI, of course, we all use AI now, right? But these are some a little bit more practical steps on how to use AI. You wanted to tailor it to specific roles. AI is really good at helping us to produce an ATS friendly or ATS compliant resume, right? However, once you produce that ATS, and these are larger companies, right? Usually, but once you have that down, these are different uses that you can do it. But you always want to make sure, as the tips say, that you want to personalize it as well, right? And you want to avoid sharing personal info. For especially my international students, make sure, because I've completed international CVs and resumes where they want your picture, they want to know what your mom and dad do, they want to know your blood type, all these other things, which if you put on your resume, automatically I have to disregard your resume because I can't, they're afraid that people are going to use that as a basis to say, you didn't hire me because of my marriage status, or you didn't hire me because my race or ethnicity, right? They'll find that out on their own, but you don't volunteer that on your resume. Okay, so make sure that your resume is clear. If you have any questions about that, make sure you talk to us in our office and we can help you at least make sure that the information you're sharing is appropriate. I think we talked a little bit about this as well. Okay, we can go to the next one. CVs, let's talk about this. I know we have people in the audience. You want to start with that?
Yeah, so this is just an example of what one of many CVs could be. If you take 20 different CVs, they're all going to look a little different, but there are main sections. And as we had said at the beginning, it's a list of your publications, of your academics, your education, any coursework you've taught. And so just understanding what to include in it. We will go for that next one.
And it's important to know what you have to include in a CV so you can prepare to add value into those categories. So these are some of the categories here as well. And the ones that usually make it really, really long are the research publications. Those usually make it long. So I would suggest you can look up faculty that you admire that you have right now. And if you look up their faculty profile online at CGU, you'll see their CV often under their name. Some of them, they all look different. So this is why a CV is very customizable, but you can see for their particular field in that industry, they probably have a general setup, right? Somebody that's in arts will have a different one than somebody that's, English faculty, right? They'll have a different setup. However, you can see that. I believe that faculty are a great resource and also great templates for your CV. Okay.
So again, formatting is important and you want it in that clean, professional, a nice clean look to it, easy to read, making sure that it's not too crammed. And especially, I think sometimes students are still in that mindset of, oh, it has to be one page or it can, I have to try and get it as small as possible. But you really want it to be readable and you want it to be easily organized, as Rose said. And we're always thinking, what is the order of importance for the role that you're going for? Do you need to put education first? Do you put skills first? After that, what do you put? Do you put research first or teaching experience? And again, that can depend on the role that you're applying to. and using the faculty in the, so if you're going for a faculty position, let's say in the English department, you can look up what are the faculty currently in the English department? What are their CVs look like? How did they organize it? What did they include? So like Rose said, that's a great resource for you as you're looking, how should I structure my CV and what to include in it?
And your CVs, yes, go ahead, question.
I already like the homepage has some templates.
Yes.
That I can use to make my CV or resume and
Mhm.
so Canva has something similar. So are those professional or should we just stick to the traditional MS Word document and create a
Oh, good question. So I believe H was talking about the templates. So Microsoft has templates as well, and Canva has templates as well. And I've had a hard time working with students that use it on Canva because that's more picture based and you're filling it in and then moving the field around, where ATS may not be able to read it. That's why we have to convert it to a PDF eventually. I don't mind you using whichever platform that you're comfortable with as long as it matches what the industry looks like. So example, if you're thinking about academia, what do academic professional resumes look like? The templates can be a little varied. We also have some templates on our website as well. And we do encourage you guys to use VMOP as well because there's templates set on there. But in terms of your personal preference, it's customizable because again, somebody that's in digital marketing, their resume is going to look different than somebody that's going to go in academia, to teach as well. So it's okay where you start. And then of course, ask us, hey, it looks like this. Is this appropriate for that field? That's a good question. Do we have any questions also online about CVs? Yes, go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No, we love it.
The templates, so we use what, Vimo?
Oh, there's a VMOC, which is an AI resume builder.
Can you
If
spell it?
Yeah, V and then MOCK. If you go to our CPD website, and we'll have a QR code for that as well,
Oh,
it'll be on there and it's free for CGU students to use.
okay, thank you, and I. Really easy questions, I'm sorry, I don't know if we talked about it, the margins, do they still have to be 1 inch or can they be less? And, or smaller, I'm sorry, and then the font size, what's the smallest size that you recommend, and will you have a LinkedIn event?
Okay,
I really found out myself.
so did we have our LinkedIn event already?
We haven't.
We have it next semester, right? Yeah, so we've had a LinkedIn event before. Our workshops, the videos, yeah, they're on our website as well. Yeah, we have every event that we've recorded, the recording is on our website. So if you go to, CPD at CGU, they'll have the websites and I'll let you know where it is. So that's about the LinkedIn one. You asked about the margins and the font size. So margins, actually, I'm not as fastidious. Like you don't have to have like 0.5 on each side or whatever. I generally eye it a little bit as long as it's as long as it looks okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't go end to end though.
Right.
Right.
You want some white space.
Yeah.
So usually moderate, you can choose the moderate
Mhm.
Okay.
formatting in Microsoft Word, where it's not the whole inch all around.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, you don't want everything all where it's crammed and it's hard to see it. It would be better to go to a second page if everything on there relates to that
Yeah.
specific role. So if there's things on there that don't, take it off.
Okay.
And probably the smallest
I
font
would
would probably
say
be
11. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
11
go
because
smaller than-
smallest.
Yeah, right, it's hard to read, okay.
Yeah, because again, 6 seconds, you want them to be able to read it
Yeah.
and not squint while they're reading it.
These are good questions though. These are
Yeah.
practical. Any questions online? Sorry, I don't have the chat open. If they're not, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, you want-
So these are just some of the common things to avoid. Always, always, always check your spelling and your grammar.
All right.
And it's good to have another person look at it because I know when I'm looking at a document over and over again, my mind fills in what I know I want to say. So I might be missing some of my words, but my mind knows what I want to say, it'll fill it in. Or my mind, I think there's that exercise where words are misspelled, but your mind can still read it.
Yeah.
And so that can happen to you on your CV and on your resume. So it's good to have, if you have another person that can look at it, you can copy and paste it, just leave out your personal information, but copy and paste the body of your CV or resume and ask AI chat to read through this. Are there any spelling or grammar errors? So there are different tools. I know Grammarly is one. So there's a lot of different tools that'll help you, but just make sure, because if I'm an employer and I'm looking at your resume and you have things misspelled, I'm gonna think you're not a very detailed person. Is this the type of work you're gonna turn in? And so it reflects poorly on you, and you don't want to be discounted from being interviewed for that role based on something that you can change. So make sure that you check that. Again, when you're doing it digitally, don't be overly creative. And I know that can be difficult, especially if you're doing like art, graphic design or something that's more artsy. You can have a template or have a resume that has the really creative design. That's one you would hand in person. That's one that you could email to them. But the one that you're submitting in an online application should be just that general, straightforward template so that they can read it. And again, we talked a little bit about personal information, what not to list, and forgetting to list the impact and the accomplishment. And that is what makes you stand out when you're listing the value you brought, the accomplishments, what you did when you were in that role. That's very important. And then just sending out, I've talked with people, it's like, I've sent 100 resumes out. Did you tailor any of them? I don't have time. You're not going to get the same result. It would be better to have 10 tailored resumes that you submit than 100 that are not tailored. You're going to get a better return.
It's not a numbers game anymore. In addition to resume, you do have to network as well, but it's not a numbers game where I send out 100 or 1,000, I'll get 2% back in for an interview. It's not like that anymore, especially in this market. So, if you're sending out, I don't want to use this word so loosely, but if you're sending out stuff that's not tailored, then it's basically just it's a waste of your time, to be honest. And you guys don't have time to waste. Right?
So
We're at end.
we're at 12:40.
Okay, so we talked about VMOC, enhancing your profile. So these are things that go along with your resume and your CV. Make sure you're updating it, and the networking is going to be key as well. So we will talk about networking. We've talked about it many times, and we will talk about that again later on. But VMOC can also help you. If you go to our website, VMOC is there as well. The link is there as well.
It's under the student page. When you go, you'll see up at the top, you'll have, about us, students, there's an engagement. If you go to the student webpage under resources, you'll see AI, or VMOC, which is an AI tool. Under our engagement webpage is where you'll see past recordings. So past events and programs we've done. There are these slide decks. Some of them have the recording, some might only have a slide deck, but those resources are available all the time. So 24/7, you can look at them and review them when you have time.
So we realize some of you do have to get to class, right? So feel free if you have to log off or you have to go in class, but we want to give you an opportunity. So there's the QR codes for our website, which has the VMOC and also the handshake, but we directly put the handshake one on there, just to let you know that, we are available to take sessions with you. We hope that you can at least develop the basis of a resume before you come to us, because if we're talking about how to build a resume from scratch, it's better you utilize the VMOC at least to get a template. Because again, we want to make the most use of your time. Okay. And also that you attempt to, there are some things that we do have to talk with you in person, like what did you do at that job? What were your roles? And we have to, dig deeper on that. But in general, it's good if you come with a template. Okay. Any questions? I know we had to rush through a little bit in the ending there, but any questions that you guys do have that you wanted to pose, online or in person? Okay, great.
And then. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that was it. Okay. All right, well,
Okay.
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So this is just the activity. I know for those that are in person, we're distributing this out. But again, this is a worksheet that you can use to help you as you're going through your resume, looking at each of your bullet points and thinking, okay, how can I structure this and format it, and what can I do? So again, thank you so much for attending. We appreciate it. Thank you to those online. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, schedule an appointment. We're happy to meet with you.
Mhm.